'96 Plymouth Neon, I figured a way to work on it. Without having to lay under it so bad. I still can't walk under there, but it's a heck of a lot better. Heck of a lot better than what I did. Putting it on car ramps.
This is just for entertainment. Do not do this.
And I got all these bricks that are down in here. I got all these bricks. They're all tipped over now, but I had them about 10 or 15 years ago stacked up on some pallets. There's even some over here. I think I got them from a barn foundation. Somebody was going to build a new barn and then never did it. And so there never was a barn on these. And now they're helping me to walk under my '96 Plymouth Neon. I put 36, 18 and 18 on each side. And then, oh, sure. I originally stacked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. 6 rows of 3 with the brick laying down. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So I did, like I said, 36, 18 on each side. And then I decided to make it even wider, and I just did, this morning, finished another 18 on each side. So then I got 2 rows together. And then then I can strap, I can build some treated wood 2x4 that'll go around the outsides of these and use some Torx head 2.5-inch screws and screw these all together, like making a little frame going around them in a rectangle, and a couple spots on these. That way, if I wanted to, I could even put a brace in between the 2 stacks when I'm driving on and off, and then take it off once it's on. I don't suggest anybody does this, but I'm not getting any use out of my barn foundation because I don't have the $75,000 to put the pole building. But I paid $2,000 to have this leveled. It's at least 90 feet wide by about 100 feet long, so I could put a pole building here, and that was the plan back 20 years ago. But I had to pay for the house and the well and the septic and all that, and I didn't want any more of a loan. There's another one of my projects. It's a 39 Farmall H. I got waiting to put some seals in the axles. Just a minute. So like I said, I'm not going to get any other use of this leveled out barn area, pole shed area, then I might as well use it for like a loading dock type thing. And it's about a 4-foot drop. And so I'm under the car here, and I'm sitting on a stool, so I can work on this from sitting on a stool. I actually got one of these bricks upright with a couple of 2x4s across the top for a seat. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking up at what I got to do. Every time a gas line or a brake line rusts out, it's always because they put a strap across to hold it. And that's the case here. Here's the strap going across, 4 bolts in it. Real nice holder, but it ruined the line. And that's why I took a break for about an hour after I parked it here, so this gas fumes. So these gas fumes, they ain't so bad now. They're pretty much all evaporated because it's got a fuel pump to get out of the tank. That's why it's not going to all leak out. and it's quit leaking now. And I see the ones going up that way. They're not just too rust-free either, but
All surface rust.
I could maybe put some grease on those to stop them from rusting, but they're nothing like this right in there. And there might even be something just a little further up here, right there. Well, that's no good either. That's going to make them rust. So I'm going to have to find a stopping point. What is there, a fuel filter there? Looks like it. And then this up here is my new fuel tank, new a couple, 3 years ago anyway. And what did the guy charge me to put this in? This was a few years ago, and he still charged me $600. Well, that's what I got to shoot for now. And I'm going to tear into that brace, get this off there. It looks like somebody's got some unions in there already. So I don't know what that means. And some of these are bound to be brake lines, I suppose. There's nothing on this side. That's from the running board, or the edge of the body over. There's not one line. Not one line from there to the edge going over. Not one line. And that is the exhaust pipe I put in, was it last year? That was my first attempt to use these bricks and these, I don't know if these things are 12 inches. Right here, the tire has an inch and a half on each side, so if that tells you what size they are.
Inch and a half all
Pretty
day.
much I let it rub on one side all the way back. The squeak ain't gonna hurt nothing.
3/4.
So I had these, at one time my idea was to put my car up on the trailer. And then back it off on just 2 or 3 layers of bricks. I didn't have the guts to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 high. Plus I'm on a skinny one on the bottom. So it's up 6 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm up 6 high looking at that exhaust system I put on. It just looks like darkness when I shine it out at the daylight. But if I was to go back behind there and show it, it'd probably come out. I'm just glad I'm not working on exhaust system or brakes, finally, because that's the last 2 things I had to do. Now it's this gas line, so I'm going to rip that, put the camera down and go rip that apart. I think I squirted some oil on this a few weeks ago. Maybe they'll come out, maybe they won't. Okay, I got behind these so they don't get so dark from shining under the daylight. So I'm going to take those 4 off right there. Then I'm going to try to pry them out of there, or however that works. And I see we're right next to the fuel pump, right here, and fuel filter. And this short hose here on the fuel pump, I hired the guy to do the fuel tank. He charged me $600, and when I went to put gas in it, I guess he went in early and just put a few bucks in it. And nothing happened, but he never put a new fuel pump in it, and he still charged me $600. And the old fuel pump would have had this old hose. So when I got down to the gas station, and about 6 miles from here, and was topping it off, this hose let loose, and all the gas I put in, which was about a full tank, started leaking on the ground right at the trucks or the B&P, and so I called him and I was furious, and I said, here, I'll pay all this, and now I'm being embarrassed at a gas station with all my gas coming out on the ground. And so, well, there was still some left in it. I drove the 15 miles, maybe 17 over to his place, and somehow, I don't know, my wife picked me up, and then the next day he fixed it and put this new hose on right here. And then he said, yeah, maybe I should have replaced and then I did my car. I got 2 neons. So when I did mine, I absolutely knew all about this hose, and I decided to put a whole new fuel pump in. So see, this is a stub. See, it ends right there. That's a stub. Well, this darn fuel filter here, is there gas on top of this hose? No, I guess not. No, I guess not. But there's supposed to be this cover over this area right in here, but it's so rusted out. And it's just so rusted out.
The cover I'm talking about is rusted out.
And so when I was doing the one on my green neon, it's a 95, I'm doing it on car ramps, and where this plug plugs in, this plug right here, I kind of messed it up. And I had to take each one of these wires out of it individually and try to fix it. And I did chop a new one off, a used one off one in the junkyard, and I'm keeping it in the glove compartment, but I haven't changed it as long as it keeps working. But anyway, so where I'm working here is really close to the fuel filter and the fuel pump. So if I have to, I'll start it back up again to see where it's leaking, but then I have to smell all that again. I'm pretty sure I can just follow it here. So one of these, maybe this one of these is going to be heading for the engine, and one's going to be coming back. And then I'm going to mark those so I don't get them mixed up.
It's the 5/16.
I would think the bigger one, probably the one my finger on,
Yep.
is probably... This little rail right here is right where I want to put my head to look at the side of it, but I'm thinking I'm going to get out from under here so I can look from the other side. But this big one has... The other ones are brake lines. I can see they go right up past and keep on going. So that's those two.
The 2 outside ones.
These two.
2 outside ones are brake lines.
Look at the rust come off those. But
they're green Teflon. I changed them.
Anyway, I got to dig into it. I'll let you know when I go for parts which line was the return and which one was the main line going to the motor, and what size they are and what I got to pick up for unions and line. Yeah, so my new exhaust is starting to get a little rusty, but it's just been there a couple of years. Goes across in the back. Has a couple of little bends in it where it goes over where the bars hold the wheel straight. Then it goes down around the gas tank. Then it goes up, and then it shoots way up there. And then, and I remember having to do that. That was no fun. No fun at all from those studs that got the springs on it up there. Yeah, it's not easy to shoot this since that gas line is all the way over to the right there, near the edge. So for that reason, I'll just kind of tell you what I'm doing as I get it cut out of there. I used the 13 millimeter socket and this this big breaker bar, 1/2-inch drive, and I thought they were all going to break, but they came loose. Just got to get them out of there. Because I wasn't going to heat these up. It smells like gas everywhere. Maybe I can leave one of those loose and then just spin it around. Well, that's one way to hold the lines up. Put a little 2-inch flat plate by about 6-7 inches across and have them actually threaded in. I'm so glad I don't have to drill these out. Now I can just put them back the way they were. And I see it's not really touching the lines. Well, maybe it is. It's in another one of those plastic or rubber holders. It's holding the rubber holder up, or plastic holder, whatever it is. These they still act like they want to snap off. I hope it's coming out and not just spinning and stripping. I think it's coming down. Oh yeah, I see it's putting some distance there. Oh, look at the rust that fell out. It's solid rust around. Now I'm outside here. Where am I going to put these? I'll lay a rag down here. Put them in the crease of the rag. One. Here we go. Bunch more rust falls. Of course, it won't come out of the socket. There it comes out. Now, see if my idea works, where I can just spin that around. Oh. I think, well, I don't know if it was ever touching that plate, but it was really close to touching. So I don't think I need to let the gas leak again to tell which one's leaking. What's that I got? Right here. Right here I got some brake fluid sitting on a union. I guess that union isn't working too good. Maybe it needs tightened up.
Shouldn't even be there.
Okay, well, the plate's down. I just got to figure out how much I'm going to cut off of these lines, where I'm going to cut them, what I'm going to cut them with. I brought my little twirl around cutter down here. So it won't be long. I'll be doing my 14-mile round trip to the store. Okay, I turned the key on just for a split second. There's the hole. It's right there in the center of that line, and it's in the center of where that bracket was. So doesn't seem to be the return linking. So if I do the return, it's just for preventive maintenance. Well, I picked 2 spots to cut it. Here's the center. It kind of dips down, see? I'll bend a piece just like that when I get this off here and see what size it is. So I'm going to cut it there on that side. And then I've sanded it down here. I'm going to probably cut it here. So I'm going to get cut. Okay, back from the store. I guess it wouldn't have cost me $30-some, but I wanted the copper nickel, so it'd be easier to bend, I guess. So now I got it. So we're going to use these 2 unions. I thought it was a quarter, but the guy at O'Reilly said it was 5/16. So what I need to do is cut this factory end off right away. If I didn't dull my tool from cutting through that rusty line. At least the outsides was rusty. Here we go. Crank it a little more. A couple times around. Crank it a little more. Maybe easier on your fingers, put a glove on. For cranking it in. Of course, the bigger one, I could be using a bigger one since I'm not under the car. It has a bigger wheel for tightening. Now I'm just kind of spinning the line. Doesn't matter. We'll just go and go and go until it's almost worse. I guess it's not cutting anymore. Crank it some more. Crank it some more. Ah, the smoke from Canada fires is better today. Nathan, my son, that's visiting Germany and Italy and Belgium, this week called and said he didn't see any smoke, but then yesterday called and said, yeah, he does see it. So it even is in Italy. He mentioned on one of these islands he's on in Italy, they like the disco music. The old disco from the 70s. Okay, we got that piece off there. So now it's what length to cut the line that I got a normal cut on now. For the other end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this line off after I put the bends in it, and I'm going to cut it the same as that line because these things are going to take up room. So it should actually make this longer by an inch, ½ inch or so for each one, if not an inch for each one. And I can always cut some off, so that's why I'm going to do that. So now I'm going to try to put this little bit of a bend in this one. I got this kind of a bender. And I've got an old pulley here that I could wrap something around a little bit if I need to.
They're very small bends, but they're kind of weird. I had trouble.
Got a spot here for, it says 2/16 or 2/16. I don't know what that first one says, but it's probably an 1/8 inch. Then 1/4, 5/16, and 3/8. So I put a line here, right there, and I'm going to put a slight bend in it. Then I'm going to bring this one up here and see if anything looks anything like it.
And nothing does.
No, it doesn't. I'll just put it back. Oh well. I'm going to try to do this without the bender. Okay, so I just started using my hands instead of the bender. It's the reason I got this nickel copper expensive stuff. So close enough to the bend. So now I guess I'll cut it off right here. I guess. I mean, that's where the other one was. Gotta trust it. After I cut it off, I'm gonna head back to the car. Well, I got it. I put some grease on the lines, and it's not like I can walk around down here. And there's my patch. There's my union. There's the other end of the union. And there it is up there. So it's not dripping. I'm going to attend to that loose union on that brake line. But seems to be I got it fixed for $35. So there it is, successful gas line fix. It's running. Obviously, getting it so I could go under there was more work than fixing the gas line. But using that copper nickel short piece of gas line is the only reason it cost me about $35 to fix it. So I guess it's back around there and come up, or I can climb up the hill to get in the car. Since I had this level 20 years ago, thinking I was going to put a barn up. Now a tree has grown there, and I used to keep it mowed a little bit, but I still could put a pole building down there. I can move these old bricks I got for $75 at an auction out of here. It's probably the only flat place I got on the property. But I had to pay $2,000 to have it leveled off. I could have a pretty wide pole shed, at least 100 and some feet long. But I never got one. Never got the money for one. So, right, Kitty? Okay, so that concludes this video. I'm going to drive the car off there and bring it back up to the house, and now I can use it again. Well, I'm going to see if I can safely drive it off this thing.
Yay.